How is everyone doing today? It is August 14th of 2025. Not sure how well my voice is coming in. We're having quite a bit of wind going on, but really excited. I love growing a garden. I love tomatoes and peppers especially because they do well in containers and we're kind of restricted to containers. I like growing other types of plants, but tomatoes and peppers especially because there is such a huge variety of each type. And so we grew a whole bunch of unique stuff in our yard. And the pepper that I want to show you guys today is one called the Aconcagua, Aconcagua. And Aconcagua stands for the highest mountain peak in the southern hemisphere or in North and South America. So the highest mountain peak in North and South America is a mountain called Mount Aconcagua, and it is in Argentina. I haven't done a super deep dive, but I do like to look online and look up a couple things like that, like interesting facts or things about the different plants that I'm showing, so I can kind of relate that information. It shows that the mountain Aconcagua is in the country of Argentina, and it shows that this tomato is from that same location as well, or pepper anyways. The pepper is from Argentina as well. I'm not sure if that's true or if Argentina is just where that mountain peak is, but I was really excited to grow this one. I seen a couple other people grow it. We have a problem growing larger style peppers in the containers. It kind of like if you suppress the root too much, you don't get as much size or as much production, it kind of feels like, especially when we gotta worry about crowding and limited space that's in sunlight with us being on the north side of the tree. But this is most likely the largest pepper I've ever grown in the yard. We pulled a couple off that were the wonky start ones at the very beginning, but we saved this one on here to see how big we could get a single pepper out of the yard. And we also saved that one on there in order to get as many seeds as possible. So it's supposed to be a sweet pepper. They say it can be mildly spicy, but it's not a spice that is necessarily along the lines of a hot pepper or a Scoville style of spice. It's more of like a spice like you would find in a radish, for example, as what I've seen online. I'm hoping it starts out kind of like a really light green, will turn a yellow color, and then it like almost like a giant banana pepper, and then it'll turn into a really red like this. When it was reddening, I should have gotten some video clips or pictures of it. It was really kind of streaking up it. This one's been on the vine for a long time. If you're ever saving seeds, you want to make sure that your pepper turns red or is fully ripened before you save seeds on it. And there's also sometimes, if you can see, it's starting to get a little bit soft and weird at the bottom. That's almost like you've had it on too long. If you have a pepper on too long, you can also get some rot inside of it with the seeds. It'll cause the seeds to diffuse, or the seeds will be too far along. They'll get these little tails on them that shows that they're already trying to sprout. But I think this one's going to be an excellent seed saver pod. Take it inside. It's supposed to be a sweet pepper. It's called Aconcagua. It's allegedly from Argentina. An heirloom. Also, I've seen nothing referencing that it's not an heirloom. As far as when the seeds were first introduced or anything else like that. So really cool. Take it inside, maybe tell you some more about it, give it a try on camera, and catch you guys in a second. Aconcagua, August 14th, 2025. Love you guys. Catch you again. All right, this is the Aconcagua pepper. You can see this is the size of my hand. This has got to be about close to a foot long. It's such a big pepper. Really excited. Anytime you get like I love growing squash, even though we don't do good with it in containers and don't grow it all the time, just because it really feels good when you go out into the yard and you pull a pepper or a giant tomato or a squash or something big, and you just bring big food back into the house. Feeling from the weight of it too, it feels a little bit hefty. I'm not sure how thick the walls are going to be, but just telling from the weight of it, this is going to be the probably heaviest pepper that we've grown in the yard. And even though it might sound a little bizarre, I believe that we've grown Kourbakis that might have been a little bit longer as far as length of pepper. But as far as overall pepper weight and how much pepper that's here, this has got to be the biggest pepper we've grown in our yard. Like I always want to mention and stuff like that, I believe that the longer peppers do better in the 5-gallon buckets that we generally grow in. because the root structure, the plant shape, everything else like that almost represents the shape of the pepper. So this is a big plant that can grow pretty tall, and we'll generally put it in. For example, if it was the second biggest pepper at this point now that we've grown in the yard is one called the blot pepper. We grew one called the blot, a really beautiful pepper, and it grew a little bit wider than this one, and a heavy pepper as well, but only about this size, and that was the second biggest one we've grown in the yard. We've tried bell peppers 3 or 4 times. We only get a few bell peppers on each of our plants, and they're really, really small. So we try to grow unique stuff anyways, and we've tried the bell pepper. We've gotten some bell peppers, and we're done wasting our time when we can grow something like this along the lines in the same bucket. So even though this is the only one really good pepper that we'll probably get off the entire plant for the season, we'll save seeds on it, and if you grow in the ground, you're going to probably do a lot better with this pepper. Everybody that I've seen, all the videos that I've seen on it and stuff like that, the plants are just Sasquatch plants that are just have several of these on here, and I can imagine going out there and grabbing like 5 of these. That would be like an insane amount of pepper overload. But cut it open and give it a kind of look for you guys. Yeah, looks like there's a ton of good seeds in there too. Some of them are a little bit, so it might have been on the plant, as you can see the end being a little bit, it might have been on the plant a little bit too long, but that's all right. I'll try to give good descriptions of the flavor and stuff when I try these things. We make videos for friends and family, and just to kind of, we love growing unique things, and so every time we have a chance to see something unique, I'm excited to show my friends and family something I found out in the yard that's really interesting to me, and kind of get caught up in the excitement of it more than I am here to teach you about this necessarily. I'll let Angel give it a try real quick. It does have a good flavor. I just don't know how to relate it or describe it. Our favorite some of our favorite sweet peppers is the Courbaki, which almost tastes like a pea pod. We like the Jimmy Nardello, which tastes like a little bit like cherries. We like the lipstick, which tastes to us a little bit like apples. This one, I don't know.
This one just tastes like a regular red bell pepper to me, honestly. And it's not, it's not as, doesn't have a pungent aftertaste. It's actually pretty smooth, but it just tastes like a regular red bell pepper, and maybe not quite as sweet. It's good though. I like it. I could use it for cooking. You could probably stuff them, cut them in half and have 2 halves and stuff them.
Oh yeah, whatever you stuff these with, you better buy extra, because it is not super thick walled, but enough that you could stuff it.
Yeah.
And
it's a good
have it
snacking
really
one.
good.
It does. It just tastes like a typical red bell pepper to me. Doesn't have any of that pungent pepper taste, aftertaste to it, and it's not super sweet, but it's good.
Yeah, sometimes there's a little bit like a radish or a weird kind of bittery flavor that comes in most peppers.
This one doesn't have that.
It doesn't have that. It feels like a clean bell pepper almost kind of thing. But it does, to me, there is a sense. It's almost like I'm expecting there to be heat. Like if I smell it and the taste of it a little bit, seems like it would be a mildly hot pepper. But there is no heat on it at all. It's, everywhere I've seen online, some people say mildly hot or, mildly spicy. I don't get any spice at all, but I do almost like sense like a thread of it, almost like maybe traditional. Like if you were to eat spicy salsa that was actually considered mild, maybe like grocery store salsa, when they say mild, they mean like no heat at all.
Yeah, it's definitely not hot. There's no heat. It's juicy, sweet. It doesn't have that bitter aftertaste, but it does taste like a typical red bell pepper to me.
Yeah, and not having any super pungent flavor. This is one that even though it's like a full meal by itself, it would be something that would be easy to snack on and eat a lot of.
Oh yeah.
A lot of times too, like I don't know if I mentioned it in a past video, but sometimes we take our larger peppers, sweet peppers, and cut them into like chip size, and then we use them for dipping in various things, cheeses, ranch, just all sorts of stuff,
Yeah.
things like that. But if I was to say there was one best use for this, would be if you can get like 10 of these, stuff them with hamburger, stuff them with sausage.
Or even roast them.
Yeah, roast them. Oh yeah, that would be so good. Smoke these, roast them and smoke them and make a
Like a paprika out of them, I think. Would be
yeah,
good.
smoky paprika. Oh my gosh. And there's lots of pepper here too. I know that our plant doesn't show it, but I really, really like this one. And it's being that it's the biggest one in the yard, I'm definitely saving seeds from it and quite possibly give it a regrow. There's some out there that are just a little bit smaller that really just push out hordes of peppers. This one right here, like I was saying, we've only pulled about 2 off of it, and this is the third best looking one that we were letting ripe all the way so we can save seeds. But I'll take you guys outside, show you one last look at the plant. This is the Aconcagua pepper. It's named after the highest mountain peak in North and South America, and also it is in Argentina, listed as an heirloom. I've seen nothing to say that it's not an heirloom. It's been around for at least a while, at least 30 years that I could see online that it's been, you know what I mean, in circulation in some form or another. But just an heirloom out of Argentina, supposedly, that was named after the mountain peak. The original reason I decided to grow this one was because, being that it's named after that mountain peak, I was hoping it was from that area of Argentina, because we are about 6,500 feet elevation, and high elevation gardening brings its own challenges, and some plants that come from higher elevations do better in our yard. So if it came anywhere near the Aconcagua mountain, which I believe is 22,000 feet, it might be more tolerant to a high elevation grow than some of the other plants. We like to grow these ahi types that are generally more tropical plants and from tropical environments and can really struggle in our environment. This one, the plant's been doing good ever since we planted the seeds up. The seeds popped out, strong plants. Several of our friends and family got these plants. Will be interesting to see how they did this season, but really, really like this pepper. How could you not like, carrying in a pepper that weighs like a pound?
Yeah.
So, really excellent pepper. Take you guys outside for one last look. Catch you in a second. And the Aconcagua. All right. As soon as our video clip ended inside the kitchen, Angel was like, I really, really like that pepper. I want to see it again in the yard. So it is a definite regrow, and I would recommend, especially if you grow in the ground. If you grow in the ground or you have a bigger bucket to put this plant in, I would definitely suggest you do that. I would suggest if it's just a 5-gallon bucket like we did, and you just want to give this one a try, I would suggest growing it. You just may not have the kind of production that you could get if you had a bigger pot or you were growing in the ground, for example. This one right here, not only is it in a 5-gallon pot, and it should be in at least 7 to 10-gallon pot, because of the size of the pepper it can get, it's also crowded and still doing very, very well back here. A couple of our plants during the first rainstorms of the season were getting destroyed because we couldn't really move everything around in the middle of like flood rains that were starting, that were back in June-ish, and this plant was just getting devastated by rain that was coming off of the trees up here and directly on it, and was beating this plant up. This one and the sugar rush were in a bad spot, but it shone out, started producing its plant again, stuff like that. We have watered recently, so everything's kind of laying down as it cools off in early evening. But this is just one plant in a 5-gallon bucket. Was topped once or twice in order to make it a little bit more squat, and climbing out of the back row of the pepper plants here. So Aconcagua, heirloom pepper out of Argentina, the biggest pepper we've ever grown in the yard, and super excited to show it to you guys. Love you tons. First time I've ever seen this one. I think my friend, the Midwest gardener, had first grown it when I'd first seen it, hearing it was from Argentina, from a high elevation, possibly from a high elevation area. and growing in high elevation here, we can struggle with certain types. So I wanted to give this one a try, and sure enough, it showed out for us. I know that was only one pepper, but that was the size of like 10 of these, maybe even 15 of the Sugar Rush peach peppers, all in one sized pepper too. And like I was saying, it's gotten battered and beaten up, so the first couple that came off of it weren't in that great a shape in the first place. We would have done a lot better if we had been pulling these peppers off early in the season to keep producing plant, making the plant stronger and stronger, not even worried about production. And then as soon as like August started, then we just let it go, and then we would probably have 5 to 10 on here that would be good for us and stuff like that. But we like to save seeds, and sometimes we get a little bit greedy and we see a good pod on there, or a good couple pods that would be good for seed saving, and we hesitate and don't get those ones off, and therefore we don't get the next waves or the next groupings that tries to produce more fruit before the end of the season when it loses its first ones. But really, really, really excellent flavor. Really kind of banana peppers aren't ripe unless they're red. I know that they're almost always eaten yellow, but they're not ripe until they're red. I would relate this flavor really close to kind of a banana pepper. It's almost like a typical yellow pepper kind of flavor, and it kind of moved into a traditional red flavor, fully ripe. So really, really impressed with it. Angel said that she loved it too as well. A really excellent for snacking, excellent for stuffing, excellent for chipping up into salsas. It does have a really good sweet strong flavor-ish, but nothing that's like so overwhelming that when you put it with other foods it's going to be the dominant flavor. It's just going to be an add flavor, instead of like an overwhelming dominant flavor that would be the spotlight of whatever meal you were eating and stuff. But really, really excited to have this one, you guys. Sorry if my videos are a little bit long. We try to stick around 10 minutes and stuff, but especially at the first of the season, and especially when it's something new that I haven't shown in a video before, I want to be able to talk about it as much as possible. And I also want to always mention that we're not professionals. We do these videos to kind of hang out with you guys. We love watching your videos when you show us your gardens and your plants and stuff. It allows us to have a bigger garden because we can't grow, even with 27 types of pepper in the yard. It's never enough. I always want to see the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. Even if you are growing this in your yard, I would love to see the video on that, just because I want to see your personal experience. I see my videos as more sitting down with friends and family and like little hangouts, if anything else like that. And when I watch your videos, it's like I'm going to your house and exploring your garden with exploring the garden with a friend kind of thing. So that's why we do the videos. Not to be professional. Sorry if it's not a good review on this one, but I just really wanted to show it because we've never grown it before. Anytime I see something unique like this, I just get super, super, super excited. So excellent pepper, excellent grow. Would definitely recommend it to anybody else. The Aconcagua from Argentina. Love you guys, and catch you next time. Thanks for watching.